Hello, this is the first lecture in Probability Theory MS 599. Let me take this opportunity to welcome you all to this course, which is a 4-credit course. That is, we will have 3 lectures and 1 tutorial. But until we meet, we will have to continue our interaction through this distance mode via video lectures and Google Meet. And so today I will introduce some basic definitions and concepts that are fundamental to the development of probability theory, which is basically the mathematics of chance. Of course, now it is a formal theory like your measure theory. In fact, a probability, as we shall see, is a measure. It is a finite measure, and we introduce a concept of what is called a probability space, then define functions on this probability space which are called random variables. We talk about probability distributions of a random variable. Then we talk about expectation of a random variable, which is basically integration of a measurable function with respect to probability measure, and then further extend this theory to define concepts such as convergence of a sequence of random variables in various senses. Now, the theory of probability is forms the mathematical basis of statistics. So, in statistics, there are laws such as laws of large numbers, laws of iterated logarithms, central limit theorem. All this makes sense only because of the probability theory. Without the probability theory, these laws would not even be stated formally. Of course, one can understand the law of large number heuristically, but for a formal understanding of many principles in statistics, we need probability theory. And probability theory has now evolved as a formal branch of mathematics, which has many applications. For example, in actuaries, and that is in insurance industry, it has many applications related to modeling the chance of extreme events. And then in climatology, in physics, in finance, and basically any setup where we are making decisions in the presence of uncertainty. So let me begin with this concept of random experiment. It refers to an experiment which has more than one possible outcomes. The set of outcomes are known, but we cannot predict the outcome of a particular trial. So example includes toss of a coin, roll of a dice, and until 1930s, until Kolmogorov developed the mathematics of probability theory formally, most of the probability theory was confined to random experiments having finitely many possible outcomes. But only this formal measure theoretic probability enabled us to do probability or related to random experiments where there are infinitely many possible outcomes, or or uncountably many possible outcomes. And so we have a random experiment whose outcomes are the elements of this set S. So the set S we call the sample space. It is the set of all possible outcomes of the random experiment, and then we call it we take a collection of subsets of this set S. If S is finite or countable, then we can take this collection to be the power set, and by event we refer to any subset of S that is in this collection of our interest. Of course, if F is we take this collection as a power set, then every subset of S is an event. Probability we define as a function on this collection, that is, it is a function defined on the collection of subsets of S. That is, with each the domain of this function P is the collection of subsets of S. Okay, and the probability function satisfies 3 properties or axioms. The first axiom is that probability is always non-negative. Second, probability of the whole set is 1. And the third axiom is that if we take a sequence of disjoint sets or events, then probability of their union is the sum of their probabilities. Of course, this holds if and only if we are assuming the disjoint. That is, if I take any two events aij, then for I distinct I and j, ai intersection aj is phi. Only then we will have this additive property. Now you see that here I am not assuming any further properties of p. All the properties of this function p will be derived from these three axioms only. So this is called an axiomatic approach. So in an axiomatic approach, we start with a set of axioms and derive further properties from these axioms. Now together these triplets, the set of all possible outcomes and the collection of subsets of S and the function P defined on this collection is called a probability space. It is not clear from this definition whether probability is less than 1, or if A is a subset of B, then what is the relation between P and PB. So this line indicates that there are certain things that we may take for granted, that probability is less than 1, but from these three definitions it is not obvious. We have not assumed anything we are saying probability is non-negative, but whether it is less than 1, more than 1, that we don't know. Of course, you can say probability of the whole set is 1, then we don't know whether if A is a subset of S, then P of A has to be always less than PS. That we don't know as of now. So these will require a proof. So these are the properties. So I will mention briefly. I will ask you to try to prove them with the hints. So first thing that you need to prove is that P phi is equal to 0. Now, you may have seen a proof of this after your 10 plus 2 at your 10 plus 12th level. So if you confine yourself to the set of all the two random experiments which has finitely many outcomes, and then and define probability of any events as the ratio of number of number of events, number of outcomes favorable A divided by n, then you would have said that p phi is equal to 0 by n, so 0. But then that is not a proof, because unfortunately this concept of defining probability as a ratio of total number and of the number of cases favorable to an event divided by the total number is not even a definition. So you see, if you go back to this axiomatic definition, here we are not assuming that how probability is going to be computed. We are only saying that a probability is a function satisfying three properties. So this requires a formal proof using these three axioms only. So the hints is that you have to take a sequence an where each n is equal to 5. So please try to write down that proof. And second is that probability of A union B is, if A and B are disjoint, then union is sum. But you can say this is already stated in this axiom 3. But if you look carefully, the axiom 3 is stated for infinitely many events. It is not obvious that whether this holds for two events. So in fact, to prove this property, you will need the first property p phi equal to 0. Otherwise, you will not be able to prove it. Then you have probability of A complement is 1 minus probability of A. This obviously follows from probability 1. The property 2 and the fact that P of S is 1, because A union A complement is S for any subset of A, and now you apply probability 2 and the second axiom that P of S is 1. So then if A is a subset of B, then P of A cannot be more than P of B. Of course, to prove this, you can first need to prove that if A is a subset of B, then probability of B probability of B can be expressed as probability of A plus probability of B intersection A complement. So that is something that will again follow from this second property. And then using the non-negativity of probability, you will get this result. And lastly, probability of any set is cannot be more than 1. Why? Because then it will follow immediately from property 4. So if A is, because P of S is 1. So you see that probability of A is less than 1. That seems very trivial, but that we can prove only after proving these results. So this is the axiomatic approach. So here we do not assume any formula for computing the probability like you had learnt in your 10 plus 2 level as probability as a ratio. That holds only in specific cases that we will see later, but that is not a definition. So we assume 3 axioms and we prove all these properties using the axioms. So as of now, I will ask you to try and formally write down the proofs of all these properties. Of course, the last two I have already discussed, but the others. So examples. Here these are examples that specify explain my point. So here I can easily define probability of head as 0.4, probability of tail is equal to 0.6. Here there are two outcomes, but from what you learned at your 10 plus 12th level, some of you may think that this should be equal to half always, but there is no hard and fast rule. You can all you need to do is to assign them each outcome numbers. When you have finitely many outcomes, all you need to do is assign them numbers which are non-negative and add up to 1. Then this will satisfy these axioms. So that is a valid definition of probability. So here the same thing I am saying, that as long as the sample space is finite, the random experiment has finitely many outcomes, there is no unique definition of probability. All that you need to do is to assign each outcome a number which is non-negative and add up to 1. And then I am asking what is probability of 2, 4, 6. Of course, you see 2, 4, 6 is the union of 2, union 4, union 6. Their point sets are disjoint. Then you apply the finite additivity. So these are the first few points that I wanted to point out. And very important thing is that some of you might be having the perception that probability is always defined as a ratio. That is not the case. Probability is a function satisfying 3 properties only, and everything else is derived from these properties. And as I have explained here, that you can easily have properties, that a probability that gives unequal unequal numbers, or assigns unequal chances to different outcomes. So this actually is very meaningful, because there are many situations in which two outcomes may not be what we call equally likely. For example, suppose I am trying to predict whether it will rain tomorrow. Obviously, if I am predicting that in the peak of monsoon and in the peak of winter, in the middle of a very dry season, then obviously whether it will rain tomorrow or not, that cannot have the same chance, right? So it is not realistic to always assume that all the outcomes have same chance, as we are often trained to think from our 10 plus 2 level. So you see that probability function can easily assign unequal probabilities to different outcomes. Only they have to add up to 1. That is the most important, and they have to be non-negative. So this is a quick introduction to the concept of probability and its properties. So more of this will follow. Hope you have enjoyed this talk. Thank you.